Right, this is Summary Notes Chapter 4 of the periodic table features. I think you'll find this a little interesting as we get through this material, how well organized this periodic table is. And you can see by the color coding down here, I'm going to widen it out a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, and again, I hope you have your version of this periodic table at hand, because that will help you to understand what we're going to be talking about. Okay, so as far as what we need to cover here, the vertical parts of this table, sorry for the noise, just getting my notes together here. I'm going to get the periodic table has groups that go down and rows that go across. Rows that go across are also known as periods. Okay, they're also known as periods. And they go from left to right across the table. All right, and then we have the groups that are going down, and you'll notice there's two numbering systems for this. There's a 1 to 18 notation, and then there's a 1A, 2A, and then this block has B's with it, and then we go back to A's. All of the A's are called the representative elements. All right, that's the A group. And they're representative because they have a little bit of metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. All right, these are the nonmetals. These are the metalloids that are in green. The blues are all metals. All right, and the yellows are your nonmetals. All right, so that's a little bit about your color coding. All right, so again, the blocks we just talked about, but then there are names for the columns. All right, so the first column 1A or 1 are the alkali metals. Alkaline earth metals is group 2A. Then again, we mentioned the transition elements. The group down here at the bottom that I'm going to circle in, sometimes these are called the inner transition. And sometimes they're also called rare earths. All right, also known as AKA. So that's that part of the periodic table. Then over here in this block that starts here, to the right of that red line, we notice that there's a staircase. And that staircase is a big dividing line between the metals and the nonmetals. And again, the metalloids, they're the ones in green that fall along the staircase. With the exception of aluminum, aluminum is a true metal. All right, so that's something you need to remember as far as the staircase is concerned. Those that touch the staircase are metalloids, but except for aluminum. And I guess Agnes, I can't pronounce this one, OG, is still considered a noble gas. So it hasn't achieved the metalloid property, and it probably doesn't exist but for a few seconds anyway. Enough seconds for it to be able to be classified as an element, however. All right, so the halogens are in group 7A, and then noble gases are over here on the right in column 8A or 18. All right, so that's just a little bit about the blocks on the periodic table. Obviously, they're mostly metals on the periodic table, but the nonmetals that are here, carbon is a very popular nonmetal because it makes up many of our organic compounds. All right, so there's a couple of problems here for you to try. I'll shrink this down a little bit. All right, by locating, see if you can locate these elements and give it their names. Group 7A or 17 and period 4. What element can be found at that intersection? All right, so that's something that you can find. You can stop the video and try these and then come back and check your answers. All right. So I'll pause for a second while you do that. Okay, if you're ready for the answers. All right, group 17 is the halogens. So our halogen is chlorine. Group 2A, that's your alkaline earth metals. And magnesium is located at group 2A period 3. All right, and then group 5A period 2, that would be nitrogen. Okay. Please remember to always count the row that hydrogen and helium are on as row number 1, and then row number 2, and so on down to row number 7. All right? And if you remember that, you'll be doing well. All right, and then lastly in this particular set, there are important elements that belong to human health. All right, and so again, there's some color coding here for you to see that. All right, those that are in red are the major elements in the human body, and sometimes your biology teacher will tell you this little mnemonic aid called CHON for carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, and that's an easy way to remember those. All right, then it says list at least 4 of the 7 macronutrients. All right, and the macronutrients in here are up in blue. There's 4 over here in the metals. And then you can see some 3 of them over here in the non-metal, phosphorus, sulfur, and chlorine. All right. And then it says locate and name the parts of the periodic table where the microminerals are, such as iron and silicon, are located. Okay. And those would be then transition elements for iron. And then silicon is a metalloid. Okay, so that is that. And I think I'm stopping the video at this point. All right, we've covered the periodic table here. And the next one we'll take a look at some history of the atom and the atomic theory.